Which shaking, people? Back with another reaction, back with some more classical music, and indeed, I do apologize to those of you who have enjoyed some of the classical reactions in the past. It's been about a month since my last classical reaction. I do apologize. I've been trying to get some other playlists going, and I've been trying to get some of my mixes from my old channel up on this new channel, so I have neglected it for about a month. I do apologize, but one of the pieces that was requested by someone a month or two ago was the Emperor Concerto by Ludwig van Beethoven. So that's what we're here to do, and I actually found, or remembered, that I have this on vinyl. So this is the Emperor Concerto number 5, conducted by Karl Bohm, who, if you remember, the Beethoven 7th Symphony that I reacted to, that was Karl Bohm conducting the Vienna Philharmonic. So again, we have Karl Bohm conducting, and the pianist for the piece is Maurizio Pollini. And so this is again the Vienna Philharmonic, so with Maurizio Pollini on the piano and Karl Bohm conducting. This is a Deutsche Grammophon record, released in 1979 in Austria. So with all that, let's get to it. The first movement is an Allegro, so that's right, and it's a 20-minute movement, I should point out. So let's get right to it. This is Ludwig van Beethoven's Emperor Concerto, the Piano Concerto number 5. What's the opus number? Do we have an opus number? Opus number 73. And yes, this is the opening movement, the Allegro. Apologies, it was on 45. It should have been on 33. There are few openings to a piece of music that are as instantly arresting and exciting to me as this. It's like coming home hearing the beginning of this piece. It's a very playful opening, right? Grand and powerful, but then sort of darting and playful with the piano line. I love when Beethoven does this sort of like juxtaposition of the powerful and forceful with the soft and subtle. Those strings. When I first heard this part was what sold me. It was like, oh wow, it suddenly got kind of mysterious and, you know, a bit dangerous in that part. But that's the thing, so many of Beethoven's pieces just, they're sonically and thematically dynamic. Right when you think you've got it sort of pinned down, sort of usher in a new element or take a new turn. Back to this, but even a little more triumphant and forceful. So for a little more subtlety. It's cheeky to come in with the softer version behind that louder front end. Oh, a trill, right? That has to be a trill. Shout out to Maurizio on the piano. Like the tension was building, like something had to break. And then back to this sort of mysterious. It's my favorite part, like that sort of reprise of that slightly more dangerous segment. But again, it's like offset against this more like beautiful and sort of floating section. Back to the triumph and the power. Almost like a march. As I mentioned, I love when Beethoven writes for strings. Every instrument, essentially. But a lot of his string work, violins especially, it's just like, oh my god. I've always thought that part, you know, and I've heard different versions of this, and, you know, it doesn't matter the version, that part, it feels like, again, it's a little off, like it's a little, like off kilter, like there's some tension, but then by here it's just petered out again. Little waterfalls. It's like all sunshine with this string work. Again, will be just his ability to switch like that. It's very powerful and loud and forceful, and then it just slides into something that's a little more elegant and winding. Fair to say there are large sections of this piece where the piano recedes into the background and waits. It's like I wait for no one. So, while the piano was like trilling like that, first behind it I think it was maybe bassoons, oboes, and then I think it was like plucked strings, and then here it's back to that mysterious sort of feel. Like clouds gather in the sky, wind blow some leaves by, it's like, shit, maybe I need to get off the road. The piano and the orchestra having an argument. The mood has changed, right? It's maybe not like, destruction or catastrophe, but it's intense happenings and maybe a bit, ominous. It's like the piano's receding. The mastery. To quote a pop song from the early 2000s, Ludwig van, how I love that man. Tension rising. What? And now the violin. Or the cello. It's probably cello. And now all the strings. Come on. And then it just flowers back into that main motif again. Like emotion in those chords that I do like this performance. It's hard when I've listened to a lot of different renderings of this. But not recently, so I'm enjoying this a lot, but it's hard to like remember how it compares to other pianists playing this piece, other conductors for this piece. But I do like Karl Bohm and Maurizio Pollini's rendition here. Just the subtlest of woodwind contributions there. Some horns making some noise. Lovely, slightly mysterious feel again. As I said, these sections are my favorite aspect of this first movement. The ability to just kind of have this meandering piano line. It just kind of draws the listener along exactly as needed until we get to one of these more forceful sections. Again, the night and day sort of loud, soft contrast that Beethoven does in a lot of his pieces is just fantastic. Again, this part, it does sound like the tension's sort of built up, like it's a bit like, it can't be sustained compared to some of the other sections. It feels like it works in contrast with the parts that surround it. This part, I mean. Still a couple minutes to go. Which I love. Like, I love starting this piece with this towering, like, gauntlet of a movement thrown down. And if you don't know, I mean, this whole piece is great, but the second movement is just subtle sublimity. But again, it works as well as it does because it follows this. Oh. Forget about it. Again, it's a bit playful, right? Again, big ups to Maurizio. Oh, I forgot we came back to this one more time. Almost has that like lullaby sort of feel to it, but again, it's like a bit bit dangerous, a bit dark, a bit mysterious. So it doesn't sound like a typical sort of like nursery rhyme or nursery lullaby, but the form of it has that sound. Again, some of those waterfalls. Getting some variations of the themes that we've come to know so well by now. Piano just like, again, softly phasing itself into the background, but then it's like the whole piece will do that, where it's like soft, loud, like in alternation, but then a particular element, a particular instrument sort of fade back, then charge forward again. What else can you do but salute the maestros involved? Beethoven most of all, of course, but also shout out to Karl Bohm, the Vienna Philharmonic in 1979, and Maurizio Pollini. As I said, I really do enjoy this. I don't remember exactly how that might compare to some of the other versions that I've heard over the years, and I know I have at least a couple CD versions of this, though I don't remember off the top of my head who the conductor or, do you call them a soloist? I guess you do call them a soloist, right? The pianist is in the other ones. But yeah, there's a note on here I should point out. Shout out to Karl Bohm, lived 1894 to 1981, a long life in classical music. I do love the artwork on this release. Shout out to Deutsche Grammophon. I mentioned it before. You know, I have a lot of the classical CDs of different labels, and some of them are designed to be more like economical, like Amadeus or Naxos. Deutsche Grammophon is a bit more of like a premium label, but it's just, there's a reason for that. The quality of the Deutsche Grammophon, I have both records and CDs, is top quality, and that's how I was introduced to a number of pieces and conductors over the years. Again, my dad listened to classical music when I was growing up, so it was one of the earliest influences I've had, and I've continued to listen to it for my entire life. So anyway, the other two movements in this are fantastic. As I mentioned, the Adagio un poco mosso, that one just is one of my favorite movements of all time, and then it finishes with a rondo allegro. So yeah, we'll come back for the second and third movement soon. Let me know if you're into this. Again, someone did request this a while ago. It took me a while to get to it, but here I am. So yeah, the classical music reactions will continue, beginning with movements 2 and 3 of this piece. And then I'm thinking maybe after that, I do actually have them here. Maybe going to do some Antonin Dvorak overtures, or maybe we're going to do Symphony No. 7 by Dvorak, James Levine conducting. So yeah, this one is actually the favorite, but do let me know if you have a preference between those two, because when I'm done with this Emperor Concerto, that's my next plan. Anyway, thank you for listening and watching. I really do appreciate it. I will see you next time. Peace.